morning, Wednesday. Happy hump day, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. For everybody that's joining live, for people that are catching on the replay, thank you, welcome, watch through. You can always find some good tidbits of information. Make sure you check out the chat as well when that loads. And if you want to join live and you're watching this on a replay, come and join us 8 a.m. Monday to Friday, Pacific time. We do a live stream, talk about the market, see how things are going. We drink our morning coffee, which is, I think, the most important thing. And let's see who's here today after I have a sip. It's looking like a decent, we had a decent day yesterday. Hopefully everybody on their investments. And let's see who's here though, before we get into what's happening today. Candace, good morning. Candace, check your email. I sent you a reply. Just we gotta iron out a time for our upcoming live stream. Check your email today. You probably have, but get back to me. You're probably like me. It's like one of those. The channel emails is separate from my day-to-day email. So I always forget to look. I'm horrible for that. I'll get better. And Stan, good morning. Welcome to the channel. Nice to have you back again. A lot of the regulars are here, which is great. It's awesome. I think we got a good group. Starting off, and MC, good morning. MC, I was thinking of you this morning because I was checking the market, and you had mentioned CT. I thought it was Canadian Tire, but you were mentioning looking at CTS, Converged Technology Solutions, and it looks like it's done very well today. I don't know what happened because I haven't obviously been following that, MC, but maybe you can shed some light on in the chat if there's anything. But I think maybe you said you own some or were looking to buy some, so hopefully you did, because it looks like it did okay today. Maybe take a bit of money and take your money and run. I don't know. And Rod, good morning. Welcome back. Always good to have you here as we're going. So. Yeah, I mean, decent day yesterday, decent day today. I think we're slowly and steady, maybe getting through this, and I think everybody that's been dollar cost averaging and slowly building their positions in their core. We like to always say the core. At least for me, I mean, we're seeing them come up. From my last update on the video, starting to see a bit of green come back, which is nice. Portfolio still down in general. I think once people come on a bit more risk in terms of I can only speak for myself, but for my, because I have a lot of the digital currency and stuff, Bitcoin and everything else. And so obviously that's more volatile, hasn't come back yet, but I think we'll get there. It's reassuring to see a few green days in there, not some big drops. We'll see. I noticed today as well, like I have Tesla, the CDR. I haven't checked the CDR price, but Tesla is doing well again. There's been a bit in the news with that. So I think people are maybe realizing it was sold too much, and people starting to buy Tesla again, which will be good for me, which is nice. And thanks, Candace. Perfect. 1 p.m. Eastern. So for people that are wondering what 1 p.m. Eastern means, Candace and I are going to go on a live stream together. And we'll talk about YouTube, talk about our channels, talk about how we started our channels. So it should be good information. So if people are thinking of, maybe people are thinking, I know some people that follow this channel. I can probably speak for Candace as well, that have their own YouTube channels, finance channels. It's a small community. It's a relatively small Canadian community. There's lots of us out there, but we're going to talk about our channels. So if you want to join on, that'd be awesome. And you can ask us questions about whatever, So we'll do a Q&A, and it's kind of a bit of our YouTube background and talk about that. I think it will be fun, something a little bit different. And that's going to be on December 3rd. I'll get that posted on the channel, because we'll do 1 p.m. Eastern. That'll be 10 o'clock Pacific time. I'll post it on the channel. You can set the reminder, and Candace will share it out if you're on her channels too. So there we go. So MC, CTS, they're looking at strategic options due to undervalued stock price, privatization, or maybe putting the business up for sale. Could be options. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I guess that's what's happening. Now, do you own some CTS, MC, or were you just kind of looking at it when you mentioned it? I don't know if you own some. Maybe it's always nice when you hear people that make a good pick. It's always nice to hear. You always wish you're like, oh shoot, I should have got that too. But it's if it happens, it happens. It's nothing you can sometimes a lot of it is luck, just getting in something at the right time, I think, just to see what happens. There's probably not a ton of people that just bought it yesterday, knowing exactly what was going to happen. At least I'm not smart enough to do that. There must be people out there that do that, but I don't think it's that easy. It makes it look easy when you see somebody jump up like that, but it's never that easy, as we know. And average financer, welcome, first time, pretty good. Yeah, catching the live stream. Oh, okay. So the venture fund, yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, and you end that with a ha. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, risky. I think risky. It's one of those things where yeah. We'll see how it turns out. It's obviously not a big, it's in the total picture of my portfolio. Talking with the venture fund, it's the minimum to put in there they were asking for was kind of, I'm sure you could put in less if you wanted to, but they were saying minimum was the minimum 5,000. So that's what I did. It's been sitting in the Purpose US cash fund, making, decent little dividend every month. So it's up with the US dollar too. It's been decent. Again, the big thing is what's going to continue, I think it's obviously a long-term thing, 10 years. We'll see what happens. That was kind of, it's obviously not for everybody, but it might pay off. It might not. If I just get my money back, I'd be happy, just to kind of see. So, and I don't think there really is. I think they've raised, from what I read, I think average financer from my last email, if I remember correctly, I think they've raised about $25 million. Wealthsimple's pulled in from that. So, nothing. So we'll see how that goes. It closes off. I'll have to do an update video. It closes off on I think it's Friday, actually, 25th, if I'm not mistaken, will be the last day to put into that. But I'm not putting any more funds in there. And I guess the question for you is, or anybody on the channel, I don't know, no one else has really mentioned it, but have you invested in it? I think Vic did. I don't think he's on today. I think Vic had mentioned in a comment he did, but then he needed the funds, so he withdrew the funds. Which I get it, right? If you need the money, you need the money, but it's better to take it out when you can, because once it locks off, it's in there, unfortunately. So we just have to watch, and I think that will be kind of exciting to see what happens. And I think we'll do well. Yeah. Okay. You work in private equity. Okay. So we'll see what happens. That's the only thing we'll have to know. It's always the risk, right? Hopefully it can't do any worse than any of my other picks. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I've been quite happy, like talking about on the invest side, I mentioned on my channel before that I do have my RSP over there, and I have an old what am I trying to say here? I have a pension that it's like a locked-in pension, Lira. That's what I'm trying to say. And I have that over in Wealthsimple from an old company I used to work with, and I've been happy with the return, with what they're doing with the money. And I have my RSP on kind of like autopilot over there. Been happy. Had I put everything in my TFSA with them as well over there on autopilot, I probably would be more up, but that's okay. It's fun to do it on your own too and learn. And so you are in it. Okay. You're able to directly invest. I didn't have an account with him. Interesting. Yeah, I had a call. How did it work for me? I had a call. Sorry, I got you get the email, and then I did have a call, but it was kind of like more of a going over your whole portfolio call. I think they kind of, yeah, I think most people were able to put it in there if they wanted to. They made it, I think probably made it sound more exclusive than it maybe was, just depending, right? They go over your risk portfolio, right? That's your risk tolerance, I think, is the main thing. So if you had that set up, depending how you had that set up, they'll look at that. So if someone's a way more conservative investor, they probably would have maybe gave you a quick call to go over stuff to make sure you're understanding it. But yeah, I don't know. But there we go. So hopefully we do well. And thanks for following along. Always always appreciate it. So people find that. Yeah. And there's nobody that's really, I don't think anybody on YouTube has actually done that. So that's good. Hopefully I'll get a few more people kind of joining in as it goes. The only thing about the invest side of that, I mean, it doesn't give you a ton of info. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of pops up once it starts getting going. We'll see how that goes, and I'll be able to share. I'll share what I can. But that's awesome. Yeah. I just had one article today. If anybody has, obviously, as always, if anybody has anything that they want to bring up, fire a comment away. While you're there, one time I'll say it, just hit the like button on the stream. It'd be great. Helps the channel out if you hit like as you're watching this. But I did have one article. But if anybody has, again, like I say, anybody has anything that they want to bring up or a stock or ETF they want to mention, we can kind of talk about it with the crew that's here, and we can go with that. But the one article, and this has been in the news for a while now. I got to share my screen. And it's kind of like it's almost back in the news because we've been hearing about it. We talked about it. I got to pull it up. It would help, I guess. And we were talking about this on the live stream that I had with Rob a couple weeks ago now, obviously, talking about mortgages and rates and all that kind of stuff. And trigger rate's a big thing, and it's been in the news for a while. Maybe I'm seeing it more, but it has been in a rate, and I think it's starting to hit with people, hit home. So basically, right now, Bank of Canada is saying basically half of variable fixed rate payment mortgages have hit their trigger rate. So for people that don't know what the trigger rate is, if you have a mortgage payment that is on a variable with a fixed payment, you will probably know what a trigger rate is by now. But for those that are watching that don't know, is basically what's happened is the interest rates have, well, obviously from the Bank of Canada, as we know, have gone up so quickly. What's happening, because the payment on a variable floats with prime, or sorry, not the payment, but the interest rate floats with prime, but the payment is static. Now there's more, basically, because the interest rates have gone up so much. The interest is more, it's not covering your principal payment down. So your mortgages are basically increasing in amortization, and you're paying more interest than you're paying, so your mortgage balance isn't as normally. Your mortgage balance will be coming down as you pay every month. Now it's not. So what the trigger rate happens is people now they get a letter from the bank, and they're having to, with these fixed variable payments, they're having to increase their payments to be able to not go into negative amortization. So that's hitting people, and it's really, really coming in the news again. The bank, I haven't watched it yet. The Bank of Canada, it was Carolyn Rogers from the Bank of Canada yesterday did a speech and kind of a Q&A. I've got the video I have to watch still. I haven't had time because it's about an hour, so I'm going to watch it today just to kind of see her thoughts on all that. But it's basically saying, like, anybody that basically took a new variable rate mortgage this, between, I think it was May. Let me find it in the article. Let's find the dates. Maybe it doesn't have it in this one. It's basically anybody that basically recently took out a variable with a fixed payment in the last two years, I think it was, are getting these trigger rates happening. So that's in the news. That we'll see. It's interesting, I think, and this kind of brings us to what's going to happen. What's going to happen with the rates? And the next Bank of Canada is December 7th, and are they going to slow it down a bit? I have a feeling they might. I think it's kind of having the effect that they wanted to do. So we'll see what happens. That was in the news. I'm going to watch that video later on today, and we'll be able to maybe share some thoughts on it to the live stream tomorrow. Yeah. And average financer. Let's just see here. Honestly, working in the space and working in top fund, we don't get much insight. Yeah. Brief description of the company and how much invested, what are capital. Yeah, that's kind of it. They don't break it down. They don't break it down too much. It'll be interesting to see, because I know with the regular invest side, they do. You can kind of break it down and see what ETFs are in there. It's a bit hard to kind of find to go in there. So I'm going to guess it's going to be kind of laid out something like that. But again, it might be quite vague in terms of what's happening. We'll have to see. I guess that's part of the interest too. We'll see what happens. And there you go. So if you locked a good rate in 2021, you probably are in a good position if you locked into a fixed rate back then. I'm going to guess probably like mid twos ish round. So not a bad thing. A lot of people took variable rates, right? Partly because of qualifying was easier. So it put people in those products, but yeah. But again, anybody that's had a variable rate at a bank that floats their payments with prime rates have seen an increase. So there you go. Yeah, one. Yeah, there was rates like that back in 2021 for sure. 149. There you go. You're laughing. The issue comes for people that are renewing now too, right? If you have to renew your mortgage, right? It's going to be a bit of a shock for people having to renew. Even if you're coming out of a fixed rate mortgage into a new fixed rate mortgage, your rate's probably, more than doubled. And that's, there you go. Yeah, variable was 0.99. Isn't that crazy to think? Back then when it was basically, it was free money basically, and that's why we saw everything go crazy. That's what happens. You borrow at 1% and buy things is basically what happened, with the market, in the housing market. And we even saw it with stock market, and you couldn't lose in 2020 was a different story, but coming out of that, coming into 2021, you couldn't lose. And I know from my other portfolio, Lira and RSP and stuff, it was great, good times, because you see what was going up and up and up, and everybody was throwing money at everything because it was so cheap to borrow. But then that's what happens if people get bit, when the rates do go up. But no one saw that. We've talked about it. I know this is probably the first time catching us live, but we've talked about it. We did a kind of a mortgage one with a mortgage broker from Ontario as well, and we had that whole conversation. So interesting times ahead. I don't know what's going to happen. I do know that it's the feeling, like, what's always interesting with the market, there's so much I'm on Twitter a lot, and there's so much like negativity and anger, and the market is just, if anybody, we're all hopefully getting through this. It's not like anything I've ever seen before. I'm not actively a trader or any of that, but I've always had my investments and everything else. But the market following it seems very very different than any time in the past. That's for sure. Just with everything, there's just so much happening, uncertainty and everything else. And there you go. Yeah, MC called it. Prices are meaningless when money is free. Valuations matter now that money is not free. Exactly. And it's free money for so long. I don't know what's going to happen rate wise. We'll know as we go. I think we're almost through the rate hiking. I think we'll see a bit of a slowdown. That's my I hate predicting, right? Because it could change tomorrow. And what I predict today is completely thrown out the window. But I think come December 7th, I think we'll see a bit of a, we're not going to have the huge, I could see, I think we kind of see, we mentioned yesterday, 25 basis points, 0.25% as an increase in rate. And I think that will kind of signal a little bit of the bank is kind of slowing down, right? And I think the big thing is going to be what happens in the States, when the States start to point to a pause. I think will be good for us and for everybody, especially people that have debts, floating debt, especially too. If you have if you have a mortgage that's fixed at 149, you're good. You don't have to worry until your renewal in wherever 4 years, 3 years, whenever it's up. But the thing with that then is try your best to really pay it down as much as possible if you're able to, at that rate especially. And then you're not in for a surprise when it inevitably has to renew, because I mean, you pretty much can be guaranteed. Again, who knows? You pretty much guaranteed we're not going to see that again. Probably not in our lifetime. I mean, but again, anything could happen, but probably not in our near future. We'll see. That's the hard part. I don't like predictions. It's really hard to really hard to do. But we'll see what happens. Let's see what else is kind of moving today. I mean, we're having a good day. I'm just looking at my most of my holdings are kind of in the green today, which is kind of nice to see. A little bit helping out. No new purchases, but as everybody kind of knows, the next purchase, I'm going to do an update. I have to do an update video on the portfolio, which I'll do after the market closes today. So we'd like to do it midweek. But then it's like a sneak peek for everybody that watches the stream. I'm going to do the 100 share purchase from everybody's suggestion. I've been looking into that, looking into that more. Looks good. It's a bit, maybe a bit more than I want to put in right away, but I think we'll do it for the we'll do the 100 shares of Div, which is good. I'm going to add that. So I'll do a separate video on that. So, because I know a lot of people don't watch the live stream. So we'll share like the 100th update, and I'll have purchased those. I'll have to obviously do it before Friday, because the 100th video would be on Saturday normally. I can't delay that forever. So we'll do that. Yeah. So that's looking forward to that. And deep recession would probably collapse it. Yeah, that's what will happen. Black swan. Like, let's not try and be. I know we can't be so negative, but that's exactly it. Like, you just don't know. Like, anything could happen. It's hard. It's so hard. It's so hard to speculate. I'm not necessarily convinced. I don't think. I mean, I don't think our recession is going to be deep. I see a lot of the inflation due. I mean, I do think in some respects a lot of it's transitory, and I think the rates have gone up fast enough. I'm hoping that will kind of curb it, but I think we're going to be kind of in that time for the next, let's say, like, not decade, but I think we're kind of in a time for higher than average. It's hard. But I think the best way to kind of, I've done so much reading that, and people can articulate this better than probably I can with articles MC, but I see the inflation more as, like, I think of it more, and from what I've read, and it kind of makes sense to me, is I see the inflation more as like 1940s style inflation, like coming out of a war and having to and thinking back 2020. I mean, it's kind of similar. Economy shut down, supply chains were all screwed up, and it still is, but that's starting to ramp. Like, obviously that started to ramp back up, and it was much the same kind of went out, and it was different from this, like, a lot of people think like inflation in the 70s, right? I was a kid. I didn't, my parents had to deal with it, not me, but it shot up more so from energy, and it's different. I don't know. It's just, I think it's coming out of the past 2 years. Everybody was basically shut in their houses for 2 years and had lots of savings because they weren't out spending money on things. And then all of a sudden everything relatively opens up and they just go crazy. And I think that's what's happened. So I think that's going to pull back as quickly as it went up. This is my theory. But then we're going to have probably like this, there'll be pockets of up and down. It won't be like inflation won't just level off. That's my kind of feeling. If you do a bit of searching, there's some great articles and posts and about, if you just search like 1940s inflation, and they'll kind of relate it to how they think it is today. That's my thoughts. 70s was also a lot different in terms of because after the war, right? Even yeah, after the war, there was like the baby boom, right? So a lot of people in the 70s as well were like hitting the age of like also consumption as well, right? Because they were getting married, having and all of a sudden it was different back then. If you look at it too, like most people stayed at home until they got married, and then they got married, moved out, had to buy things, right? So that's what caused that as well. Well, we'll see. I don't know. Just one way to maybe think of it. Nobody's maybe it might be completely different, but that's it. So MC is looking at eight. Oh yeah, yeah, I know that one. Down a bit on earnings, but look, that's been. I think a few people have that. I can never pronounce it. I can write it out. Uh, it popped up in my thing too. That's the what did it have here? Their earnings rose on gas sales apparently in the last quarter. Yeah, Alimentation Couche-Tard. That's my best French pronunciation of that. So that's a good one. MC is the stock picker of the group. And yes, that's right, Candace. The Fed is coming out I think it's 1 o'clock Eastern, if I'm not mistaken. So that will come through. That'd be good. I think there is a chance. I'm kind of I'm thinking I'm trying to be optimistic, like always an optimist. I think we are kind of starting to see a bit of relief. We'll have to see what they say. The market will tell us. That's the thing, and it would be nice to. I think I'm just reading the next comment. I think It would be nice to have a Santa rally. We never got the Santa rally really last year, so it'll be nice this year. It'll be interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of tax. I think there'll be a lot of tax loss selling for people this year, but we might get a Santa rally out of that as well. We'll see what happens. And yeah, my French every time, yeah, alimentation. I put the French accent on there for probably no reason. And I think I'm probably way off too. Fun fact: I was terrible in French in school, and I hated it, and I hate. But I think it's because I hated my teacher. That's why. And I wish I learned. I do wish I learned a second language now. I guess it's not too late to learn a second language, but I wish I paid more attention in French. But it'd be nice to learn another language, maybe Spanish or something like that. Spanish or Italian, not Italy, yeah, Italian. I have a friend that's speaks Italian. I only know a few words. And average finance, HOU oil play. Candace would be the one to ask for that one. Average financer. Oh, sorry, Mountain Finance. Candace, that's Candace. HOU. Let's pull. I don't know who that is. HOU. Beta Pro crude oil leverage daily. Oh, TTF. Okay. I can share that to the screen, and maybe someone has a look on that. I think Candace's ETF for oil is XEG, but there's a HOU. I don't know much about that one. Have never heard of it. That's the thing. There's so many. You can never. It's like every day somebody mentions another one. So maybe take a look at that. Well, I guess I could show the name. There we go. See if anybody wants to see. Maybe someone knows that, and maybe Candace. Maybe Candace, you can give a 2-second yes, you've heard of it, or what, or that might be one maybe to check out for your channel. There you go. And there we go. Yeah, everything's kind of is everything ready to go? I don't know. We'll see. I think when people, this is the thing, we've had so many drawdowns this year with literally everything. You could almost throw a dart at any stock and it's down. I think once stuff starts moving, people actually want to put a bit of more risk in their portfolios. I have a feeling things are going to just boom, but it just depends when that actually happens. I don't know. Because you can look at tech. Look at tech stocks, right? Everything, Shopify, like a lot of the tech is just hammered, right? Facebook or Meta, Tesla. I consider that a tech stock as well. We'll see what happens. Good morning, Brian. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining in. Ask away some questions. And I'm going to guess that Brian probably knows Candace. So hey, Candace. And Candace here on HOD. HOD is an inverse. Oh, okay. HOD is the inverse and HOD is the bull. Okay, so it's. I see. I'll probably stay away from those. So that's like the what's the one that shorts the? Isn't there one that does that with the S&P, Candace? What's it called? The one that basically the ETF that basically shorts the market. I can't remember. It's always on the tip of. Is it Q? I think it's Q. Yeah, is it QQQ? I think. So do your research on that one. Beyond my and HIU. Is it HIU? I gotta search all these up. Oh, okay. That's the one. Oh, okay. I can pull that up for people. So that's the inverse S&P 500. I can share that on my screen. HIU. Beyond my, I would always pick the wrong, although the way I'm going, I should have picked these, I guess, but beyond, that's always beyond my scope. But I guess something to look at if people want to get more advanced in what they think is gonna go. So average financiers done SDAO. Is that the inverse? Is that the inverse Dow? I guess ultra short Dow. Yeah. And I don't trade options. I don't know anybody that does on the channel. I did see though, average financier. I did actually see on Twitter that I believe Wealthsimple as a rule started to kind of roll that out to some accounts as a test, because someone had posted they were signed up for the beta of testing of options on Wealthsimple. So that may be something we see in the future from them. I don't know. It was, I forget who it was, but it had popped up on my timeline. That it's and yeah, Questrade does, yeah, and so does doesn't National Bank, I think, does too, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not signed up for National Bank, but I think so. I just use Wealthsimple. Candace, I think you have National Bank. You could probably answer that question. And option trades was the only way you could afford a home. Well, good if you got a home from that. That's good. And if you're in Toronto, Toronto is expensive. I'm in the Lower Mainland, so I know how expensive the Lower Mainland is too. but don't own a house there. Wish I did. I would have took my money, and I'd be doing these. If I if I did, if I had bought a house back in the day, I would have I would have been doing these live streams from I don't know, probably from somewhere sunnier. I would have taken my money, and I would have taken my money long ago, I think, and I would have been gone. I would have been gone. living in I don't know, Mexico or something, maybe. But it's expensive over there. Yeah, very expensive. And so you can turn on options. National Bank, Desjardins also has them. Okay, there you go. So they seem to all get it. I can see that. I could see that's why probably Wealthsimple is looking to roll these out, because there's obviously people that want to do different types of trading. Not necessarily for me. I can't say never say never. I'd have to do a lot of learning about what to properly do. Happy just doing what I'm doing at this point. So yeah. And MCs in GTA. I don't know. I have a friend in Ontario, but I don't know the areas that I know. Obviously, I know Toronto. I've been to Toronto a couple times, but I don't know the areas like outside of that. I couldn't. But there you go. I don't know anywhere that is, but that will probably make sense to people that live there. I still have to ask my friend. Obviously, he's been on the stream. Rob. He's in Toronto. He's based out of Guelph, but for his work. But I don't even know. I still have to always ask him if that's like east or west of the city or where. Like I couldn't even. I'd have a hard time finding it on a map. I'd have to search it to know where stuff is. So yeah, and yeah. Hey, Julius Caesar, welcome back. Always good. And you'll know what that is, Midtown. I just know Toronto from being. Vancouver is a big city too, but Toronto is like way bigger than that. And where did I go there? I was there for a conference, and it was in. I can't remember where it was, but I stayed downtown. But the conference wasn't quite downtown. Yeah, I don't remember. I just remember it being a big city. But nice by the waterfront there on the lake. That's for sure. And Julius is from Nova Scotia. Okay, Nova Scotia is nice. I had a friend that lived there too, but they had to move back. They moved back to Saskatchewan from Nova Scotia. That's where back east. That's where properties are good deals. You can get lots of land. That's for sure. I just don't know. I don't know the areas that well to figure out where you'd want to live. But still lots of room out there. I think that's what a lot of people are doing from Toronto and other provinces, moving east, driving up the prices. I don't know if that's still happening or not, but all across Canada, I get majority of the people on the channel are from Canada. I think the only ones from other countries are scammers and leaving spam comments that visit my channel. But everybody from Canada, obviously with investing with the TFSA, it's Canadian. It's quite a Canadian thing, obviously. But that's that. Oh, Nova Scotia. I think I knew that. I live in Ottawa. Yeah, I've never been to Ottawa. Farthest east I've been is Toronto. But I've been to, where have I been? I've been to Saskatchewan and Alberta. That's it. But then born in BC. So I've kind of always stayed here or come back. Was in Alberta for a little bit, but a couple times actually for work. You go where the money is sometimes, where you have a job and work. So West Coast is the rain. You get used to it. And there we go. I guess just a reminder again, markets close tomorrow for all those US traders. So we'll see what happens on Thursday. Sorry, tomorrow's Thursday. We'll see what happens on obviously if the Fed is doing a little speech after 1, then markets closed, and then there's a half day tomorrow, like a part day tomorrow. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. We could have a good day on. We could have a good maybe depending what they talk about. We could have a good good jump on the short day of Friday. We'll see what happens. That is Petawawa. Where is that in? So bad. I don't know my Canadian. I don't know my Canadian geography, but where is that town? Is that near? Oh, it is on. Yeah, it's Ontario. It's north. It's really north though, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken, like really cold. I had a friend that lived in Thunder Bay too. That would have been cold. Yeah, Canadian winters aren't fun. It's like Alberta, cold. You get 2 seasons, summer and winter. Yeah, it is north. Yeah, I'm just not sure how far north it is. Is it north of? Is it? I guess I could look on it. Is it north of? Is it north of? I have to look here. Is it north of? I love how we get sidetracked. Is it north of Thunder Bay, or is it that far? Oh, it's not that far. So it's north of Ottawa. Oh, okay, or kind of northwest of Ottawa. Northwest. Oh, there you go. I could ask here. It's faster than searching on a map. Yeah, I don't know the areas. So MC's saving cash. MC in short term. We'll see. We'll see. I think a lot of people from MC are sitting on cash. It's just when to. The whole question is when to. If you're smart, like the smart people are sitting, it's like when do you deploy it, right? That's the big question. I think we're kind of near the bottom. It's everybody's. You can tell almost from everybody's anger and attitude and anger, despair. What is it like? What is the how it goes? Like anger, despair. Everything else is happening. I think that's happening, especially I know from following in Twitter, following the whole crypto thing with FTX and everything else. Then what happened back in June with Luna. So it's definitely, that space is definitely in a negative zone right now. Believe me. There we go. And average financer. I'm not sure what MC does. If she's or he, I'm not sure if they want to let the people know. Some people don't want necessarily people knowing where they work on YouTube, but maybe they do work in finance. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but MC's always got some good insights from them. But I do not know. I don't know. Not everybody. People sometimes don't want to be kind of. I mean, depending where they work too, they might not be able to kind of mention what they do or where they work, or don't want to. To each their own. But we'll see. We'll see if they're willing to. Oh, so I'm probably pronouncing it. Is it Petawawa? 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours northwest of Ottawa. Good to know. Thanks, Brian. Yeah. When I was in Toronto, I didn't drive. I just flew in literally in cabs. And get back. Take care. Nice to pop in. Good to have you. I am, yes. So I am. I have a little bit in my, obviously. If you look at the portfolio on my channel, I do have a few ETFs, Bitcoin. I didn't go really into the FTX disaster arbitrage. We're not really a. I mean, we're not really a. I'm not really a crypto channel. It was a disaster. It was like super like crazy. It's still stuff coming out. You're just like, what the heck happened? We didn't have a live stream just on that. There's a lot of people that we don't we I mean, we talk about crypto, but we don't. It's not the focus. But I do have it on the like we talk about it a little bit on the channel when it comes up. Um, I try not to do like clickbait, crypto crash, FTX kind of, play. We kind of more of a regular discussion here. But it was a disaster. I mean, they were essentially taking people's money and using it to make bad investments, essentially, and it all blew up. That's basically what happened. But I wasn't impacted. I mean, I don't. Did FTX even trade in Canada? I'm not even sure on that. I didn't. I don't. And any crypto I have, I do have the ETFs. Any other crypto I have, like Bitcoin, I have on my own wallet. So I don't even keep it on any exchange, which I think that's what people learned, not to keep stuff on exchanges unless you're using it to trade, to actively trade when you are, and if not, take it off. That's kind of that's the lesson. Obviously, it's a bad way to learn a lesson, but because what they were doing was fraud, stealing your money. But it just kind of goes to show, be careful with investing in that kind of space, because it's so new, right? It's like the Wild West, which people see potential maybe, but there's always the risk, right? As we're seeing. But I think yeah, that's kind of where that is. So I am into it, but I don't talk about it a lot on the channel unless it comes up. And I'm not in it big by any means. It's a small portion of my overall portfolio. I want to say roughly 5%. So I think that's a good allocation for me. It might not be for somebody else. Somebody else might be comfortable holding more. But everybody's different. I don't think my personal, not to tell people how to invest, but I think it's good to have some exposure, but within your tolerance. It's not something I would go like all in on. Much like anything, I wouldn't go all in on. So that's just me. Everybody's different with their risk tolerance. Some people think it's going to zero. It's not going to have any use or value. I think it will, but that's me. And people are welcome to invest their money how they wish. And I don't know if you are. I don't know. It's different. I find it interesting. There we go. It's funny when you start the live streams. You start rolling, and then you look at the clock, and you're like, holy, we're almost coming to the top of the hour. So I just let's jump on and just say, like, hey, thanks for everybody that's joined us. We had a couple new people today, which is awesome. Channel's always kind of growing. So on that note, just appreciate everybody that takes the time to come by, say hi, and hit the like button, join the channel. It always helps. Just to recap, if you are obviously, I think everybody that's watching live is subscribed to the channel. If you're commenting, you're obviously subscribed. But if there's those that are watching that haven't commented or said hi yet, please join in. It's all about everybody else trying to learn from each other. So it'll be great to have you along. This is not my 24-hour stream, but it seems to be getting almost close to that. No, I start working about 9, so I always wrap up just before 9 is how it goes. It's fun. It's a good way to start the day. It gets me my coffee. It gets me to kind of chit chat about the market, and it's awesome how it kind of usually goes in a different direction. I learned my Ontario geography today, and a little bit of French that I probably pronounced wrong. I have my other, on that French note, I have another, like my other YouTube channel that I do, and I had someone that shared something with me that I was talking about in a video, and I had a video filmed, and I completely butchered their name when I filmed the video. He was okay with it, but it was because I was sharing some of his photos, and I knew I was going to butcher the name, but yeah, it was funny. Not different languages. But no, thanks for coming in. Oh, good to know. Don't hold any crypto. Yeah, it's not for everybody. Not for everybody. I'm not sure how many on the stream. I know, like I do, Candace can jump in. I know Candace did own some, but I think she sold it all and is making bank on day trading. So to each their own. I don't think it's probably not the time to. It's so much, like, what is it, FUD? Like, there's just so much fear out there that you can probably not have to. You're not losing out by not owning anything. I think any of that right now. It's I think we're hopefully at the bottom, but we'll see what happens. You don't have to rush into it. I don't think it's time to rush into any investment right now. Just kind of dollar cost average with what you think is good for you, and then when the market does shift, we'll ride that wave out, and hopefully, like we say, Santa rally. Maybe we'll get a bit of Santa rally going into the new year, and we'll get a bit of a turnaround. We'll see what happens. But there we go. So coming at the top of the hour, thanks everybody for watching. Update on the channel. I will get my video update done today. It's midweek, how the portfolio is doing. So I think hopefully the day ends off in a good bit of position to make it. It's nice to talk and do an update when it's a little bit up on the day, that's for sure. And then on the weekend, it will be past the 100 episode, which will be the update 100 episodes. So I'll have to get that stock. I have to get money sorted out and transferred in to my TFSA to buy that stock, and we'll share that as well on the channel. But other than that, back tomorrow for another live stream. I'll post on the channel. So once it gets posted, you can hit the notification and to get notified when I go live tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, so Thursday and 2 more for the week. We're doing good on these live streams. Always good. More people coming in, more people leaving comments, which is awesome. Do really appreciate it. So we'll sign off for now. Thanks everybody. As you head out, make sure you hit that like button. And as always, we start off with a relaxing fireplace. We'll let the fireplace kind of run, finish our coffee before I anyways start work for the day. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of the day, and hopefully the market stays green for everybody today.